Hi friends, welcome to our channel Eazzy Learning Lab. I am back again with our new topic in SQL, that is constant. It's very important topic. So let's begin. For all these notes and a practice script, you can subscribe my channel. You will get there a link. You can click on that link. You can download all these scripts from there. Let's begin, friend. So constants. What are constants basically? SQL constraints are used to specify rules for the data in the table. Like we have to specify some rules. Like any column will not contain null or this column will be unique. So this type of rule or integrity constraint, like it is referred by this column. So all these things specify rules on a data is known as a constraints. Basically constraints are of two types. First is a column level constraint and second is the table level constraint. Table level constraints apply on a whole table, while column level constraint apply on that particular column only. So we will see this with our practical exercise. Okay, let's begin. So these are constants. So basically we have 6 type of constants. First one is not null, second one is unique, third one is primary, fourth one is foreign key, fifth one is check, and last one is default constraint. So what are these? We will discuss one by one. So first start with a not null constraint. Not null constraints means if we want to make any column as not null. Not null means it should always have a value. So for this, I am taking one example. Let's begin. So I am creating a not null constraint on employee table. I will create one employee table. Okay. So on my Oracle, I have created this table. See, table created. Then I describe it. I will describe this. See, currently we see null. All these are null columns. Like we can insert a null values in these. So we can insert null values into it. If we want to make some column which is not null, so how to do it? So let's insert null values into that column which we want to make a null, not null constraint. Like we have a name column. We will make this column as not null. First we will try to insert one value with a null values. Whether it get inserted or not, we will see it. So I will just go here. I will pick this insert. I will try to insert a null value here, like name. So I just delete this name and I will put null. So whether it will be inserted, currently we don't have any constraint on this table. So whether it will be inserted, yes, it will get inserted. See, one row inserted. We select the table, select star from employee table. So what we will get? We will get a row. See, name column is null. So we want, like, nobody should insert a null column in the name column. So what we will do? We will delete the record. There is one row. We can directly delete it or we can directly truncate it. Currently we are deleting it. We will delete the record. The records got deleted. Currently we don't have any records into this table. See. Okay. See, no data. Currently we don't have any record. Now we will put a constraint. Which constraint? We will put a not null constraint. So syntax is very simple. Alter table name, modify column with not null. So we will do this. We will run this command. So I have already written this command, not null. Just run it. Run it. See what happens. Constraint has been created. To see the constraints in Oracle, we have a user constraint table. But in SQL Server, we have some other table also. You can Google it and you can get that thing also. So we will check whether the constraint has been created or not. Check it. It is taking time. Yeah, you got the result. See, owner is this, constraint name is this, employee name is not null. Now we check the describe condition, like what effect on this describe statement. See, now this column has become not null. We cannot give a null into these values. So we will try our first insert. Like we have inserted a null, we will try to insert a null. What will happen? Let's see. See, cannot insert null. We will get an error. Now we will put the value. See, one row inserted, selected. See this. See this. One row inserted. Okay. You got the difference between null and not null. Null means empty values. Not null means we have to put some values into the table. Okay. So constraints, not null constraint clear for you. Okay. We will drop the table. Because I want to tell you some other commands also, so I am dropping the table and I will again create it. Dropping the table. Okay. Now the second one is null constraints clear for you. Now the second one is unique constraint. What is a unique constraint? Like unique constraints means there could not be any duplicate values. It could be a null value, but it cannot be a duplicated values. So let's try this constraint. Again we create an employee table. Now we will create a unique constraint. Syntax is very simple. Alter table name, add constraints. You can give any constraint name. Try to give name to the constraint, otherwise it is system generated constraints, and like it depend on system to systems. Like sometimes in dev environment it has some different name, in prod environment it has different name. So if you want to delete it or drop it, you have to go there and do this. So try to give the name to the constraints, so that if anyone you have to modify that constraints, you can easily modify it by their name. Okay. So I am creating a code. I am creating a unique constraint. Not code. Unique constraint has been created. I'm creating a unique constraint. Now check what happened to our constraint table. See, constraint has been created. It is a unique on employee. See, this constraint has been created with a index. Okay. Now we will try to insert a value into the unique column. So we will try this. What is the position of that column? Is second. So second we are putting this. So whether it get inserted, it get inserted. Okay. If we will try to insert a null in that column, a unique constraint has been defined on the code column. We'll try to insert a null. What will happen? See it. Null. Okay, same value. Everything, only I have changed the. See, it has inserted. Again, we will try to insert one more null value. So what will happen? It is inserted. So see the records. So how many rows? 3 records are there. See, this is null value, this is null value. It is accepted. So you are wondering about why it is accepting this null values, because null will come only once. If we try to insert this thing again, it will not be inserted. Let's try this thing also. Then I will explain you what happens. I try to insert the same value. Okay, see this C0001. It has got the same value. I will try to insert it. See, I get a unique constraint, violent. So it will not giving me to insert the same code into the table. So this is basically unique constraints, but it has allowed me to insert a null values. Why? So basically, what is null? Null is something which is a garbage value. So it's garbage values. So it will always be different. This null is never equal to null. Null is something that is a garbage value into a database. While it goes into database, it's something which is a garbage value. It is not an actual value, it is a garbage value. So the garbage value will always is unique. So remember this. Null value is always be a unique and null is not equal to null. Remember, very important. Now I will truncate the table. Truncate the table. Truncate the table. Okay. You understand what is unique constraint? How it works? What we have learned? Not null, unique constraint. Okay. So next is primary key constraints. It's very important. Primary key. Basically, whenever we create a primary key, automatically index is being created on that primary key. So what is basically primary? Primary key contain two features. One is not null and second one is a unique. It is a combination of these two constraints. If we make any column as not null plus a unique constraint, then it will behave like a primary key. But if we define a primary keyword, then it will also create an index on that key. So remember, we can create a column with a unique plus not null constraint on same column, but it will act like a primary key only, but it does not have the indexed. It has the index, unique indexed, but it will not be treated as an index. It will not be indexed. But while getting this primary key, it will create a index. So primary key has a two two things. One is not null and second one is a unique. So it is a combination of two constraints. So what is the syntax? Alter table, table name, add constraint, constraint name, and primary key. And what is the primary key? So we will create it. Okay. So there are two ways of doing the primary key. Either you on a table level or a column level you can make it. When you define the column, at that time you can create it, or there is one more syntax. This is the syntax basically. Or after defining the table you can do this primary key constraint. So we will try both of them. So for this we will create a department table. I will remove all these things. Okay, we will create a department table and we are creating a primary key on department ID, and on department name it is not null. Okay, so what is department ID? Is a primary key. What is primary key? Primary key is a combination of a unique and not null constraints. The value should be unique and the value cannot be a null. And department name, what we are doing? We are putting a not null constraint on department name. Got my point? We will run it. Table created. We describe the table. What happens? See, null, both are not null, correct? Both are not null, and with this department we have a unique key constraint also. Let's check in our constraint table. What is the table? Select star from user constraints. Let's check what happened to this department table. It is taking time. Yeah. See, these are two department table constraints. I can make a filter there so that we can get only department where table name equals to DEPART. Department. Okay. If you have any doubt in table creation or defining this thing, you can watch my previous videos. It is taking time. Yeah. We have created two constraints. What are these? C. First one is constraint C, which is on department, which is not null. Okay. Second one is primary key, department enable limit. Okay. Okay. These two constraints are created. Now we will insert few rows into department table. So first we try a valid condition. Okay. First one is a valid condition, a normal record which is department at department name. So row got inserted into this. Check it. So what the result will be? You will see the department 1 computer. You can see one row inserted and that row is this. Now we will try some different scenarios. Like if we try to insert the department ID same and this computer we make it CS. We will try to insert this, see what will happen. See, we get a volant, constant volant. We cannot insert it. Okay, now we will try to give some other name, other ID, and we try to insert it, and we give this as null. This is blank or null. Then let's check. Why? Because department name is not null. There must be any value, so it will not allowing me to insert this rows. So this is about primary key, not null constraints. Okay. So let's move to our next constraint. You understand the primary key constraint? How to give it? Two ways. I have told you two ways. One is regarding this. One is regarding table level, and second one is column level, like this. This is a syntax. Okay, we will try this syntax also. See, we are creating an employee table. Name is already exist, means we have not dropped the table. So just we first drop the table. We will drop the table. Table dropped. Now we will try to create the table. Then we will put employee name as not null. Then we will put a unique constraint on employee. So you can directly put an employee. I'm just going step by steps. So this is the unique constraint. Now we will put a primary key constraint. Now we will check our constraint table. User constraint table on employee. See what happens. Employee. It is a system defined table. There are few tables which are system defined, like user constraint DBA with DBA can see it. So what we have done, there are two unique constraints and one not null. See, unique, primary key. This is, so this we have created three constraints. Okay, got it. So this is about primary key. So we have a foreign key constraints also. What is foreign key constraint basically? It is a reference of other primary key. It is a reference of other primary key to the base table. Like for example, I will give an example. Okay, so you can understand it. We have two tables, department and we have employee table. In employee table we are referring department ID. What is department ID? Department ID is basically coming from a department table. So employee is the child of department ID, department table. So he is a master. Basically department ID is a master table and employee is using this department ID in the column employee table. So this is basically a foreign key. The main factor while you creating a foreign key, that key should always be a primary key of any table. Like we have created department ID as a primary key in department table, so we can make employee department ID as a foreign key. So remember this thing, foreign key should always be a primary key. Which you are referring will always be a primary key of some other table. So okay, we will create a department ID as a foreign key. So the syntax is very simple. So this is a syntax: alter table employee, add constants, foreign key, constant name, foreign key, department ID, which is, this is our employee table referenced by department. We are referring that department ID. So just apply this script. So foreign keys, this is known as a reference integrity. So what does this means? Reference integrity, what does this mean? First we will check this has been created or not, a foreign key is created or not. Then I will tell you what is the reference integrity, how it works. See, a foreign key has been created. Where is the foreign key? This reference R. And what is the reference key? Okay, now I will tell you how it works. So we have two tables. This is our master table. This is our master table. How many records we have? We have only one record. Okay, and let's check how many records we have. Employee table. So we does not have any records in the employee table currently. Okay, it is basically noted upon. Now we will first go for a positive scenario. Like in department number, we have one record. Okay. Okay. We will try to insert into employee table. I will pick at this record. Okay. So what does this means? I am inserting one record into the employee table. See, ID is unique code. Okay, name, department ID. Which department ID I have put? 1. It is already present in department. Yes. So we'll try to insert this. So see, it will get inserted. Let's check whether it is not, what record it will be inserted. Let's check. See, this record has been inserted. Now we will try to insert a second record, not 1, which has 3. In our department table, we have only one record currently, correct? So what will happen? See, we are inserting department ID as 3 in our employment. We are trying to insert. Okay, let's check what will happen. Oh, it gave integrity constraint. Parent key not found. Means if you found this type of error, means there is no record in our master table. You are inserting a child record. In child record you are inserting where master record does not exist. So for this, what we have to do? So before inserting into a child table, we have to populate the master table. So let's insert this record. First, department table. We insert it. Let's insert it. Now we will check the department name. We should have 2 records basically, correct? 2 records, 1 and 3. Okay. Now we will try to insert into employee table, same record. We'll try to insert. See, 1 record inserted. Check the employee table. See, 2 record has been inserted. So you got my point? Before inserting into a child table, you have to insert into a master table first. If that record exists, then you don't have to insert. It is a master table. So you know the concept of master and a child table. Now you can understand the basic concept of master and child table. Master always have that record into that table first. Then you can check the child record. Okay. So last one is very simple. Last constraint is very simple. That is a check constraint. It is basically used for checking the condition. Like if you want to make, for example, in a department table we have a age column. If you want to it, only you can enter whose age is greater than, like whenever insert is fire, only that values are inserted whose age greater than 18. So you use this check constraint. So it's very simple. Alter table employee, add constraint name, check age is greater checking. It is always check when you are inserting the record. It always check this condition whether this age is greater than 18. If it is not greater than 18, it will give an error. So with this, you can have a integrity, or you can have a proper data into a table. So if you want to do some complex constraint, if you want to make some complex constraint like if this then, if this then, if this then you can use a trigger also to make the constraints. I will tell you afterwards like what are triggers, but this can be achieved by trigger also. But remember there are 2 very important constraints which we generally used, and for a performance also. One is primary key and second one is a foreign key, which we use extremely in everywhere. We use these 2 constraints because using this, performance is also increased. It will create an index on a primary key, and due to which performance is increased. So remember these constants. So one more thing you can remember, we have a golden rule here. Golden rule is that if we have n number of tables, then we should have n-1 number of joins. Remember this golden rule. It will be very useful while you are doing joins. If there are 5 tables, then there should be at least there should be a 4 joins. You can have you can have any maximum number of joins, but at least 4. You can have 20 joins, but at least 4 join will be there if there is a n number of tables. So it is very important. This is a golden rule. It is not related to this topic, but it is related to joins and these primary foreign key joins, because this is the base of it. So remember, if we have n number of tables, there will be the n-1 joins. So this is all about constraints. There is one more constraint as a default constraint which will put a default value. If you will not specify any value to the constraints, it will put that value like in an employee table. If we want to put some default value of salary, So you can put default value of salary. Like if somebody missed that part, miss that, it will put a default value like 0 or something. So it's very easy, and it has the same syntax as the other. Like you have to add constants, and you have to put the constant name and with the default value, default some value. Or you can define here also at a table level, you can define a default value of this constant, default value of this column. So we have learned constants. We have learned constants in our this video. In my other video, we will cover some interview questions or some important questions which are generally asked in the interviews. So in my previous videos, we have covered DML, DCL, DTL. We have done truncate, delete. So you are now familiar with all these commands. So there are some tricky questions which will be asked in interviews. First, I will go for a basic questions like simple questions, and then we will go for some complex scenarios. So friends, if you like my video, like me, comment me, or if you have some doubts, you can mail me on my mail ID. I will try to answer the questions, answer your doubts. If you have any suggestion regarding the videos or which topic I should cover, so definitely it is welcome from my side. It is most welcome that you suggested me what type of video I will make, so that I can make your coding easier and you can understand the concepts more easier and more clearly. Thank you friends for watching my video. Bye friends.